Most of the food in your garden is needy. Miss a week of watering, skip a season, let the weather turn, and it dies on you. You're not a gardener, you're a babysitter. But there's a class of plants that don't work like that. You put them in the ground once. They survive drought, bad soil, hard winters, and months of total neglect, and they keep feeding you year after year. Some of them you'll struggle to kill. 12 of them. I'll show you what each one is, why it refuses to die, how to plant it, and how it either fills your kitchen or earns you money at the market. And stay till the end. The last one grows so aggressively that people's real problem is stopping it. One honest rule before we start, because it's the difference between success and a dead plant. Survives anything kicks in after the plant is established, usually its first season. In those first few weeks, every plant on this list still needs water and a little attention to set roots. Get it through that one season, and after that, it's on its own. That's the deal. Keep it in mind for all 12. Let's plant.
We start with the king of plant-once crops, asparagus. Put in a bed of asparagus crowns, and it will feed you every spring for 15 to 20 years. Some beds produce for decades. You plant it one time and harvest for a generation. Here's the setup. You plant the crowns in a trench, cover them, and mulch. The one catch with asparagus is patience. You don't harvest the first year or two while it builds its root system, but that's the only work you'll ever really do. After that, it pushes up fresh spears every spring with almost no help, survives hard winters underground, and comes back stronger each year. And asparagus is one of the higher-priced vegetables at any market, especially early in the season when little else is ready. So it feeds your kitchen for free every spring, and the surplus sells for real money before anyone else's crops are even up.
Number 2, rhubarb. This is one of the toughest food plants you can grow in a cold climate. It shrugs off frost, it doesn't care about poor soil, and a single plant can produce for 10 to 15 years, getting bigger every season. You plant one crown, give it room, and that's essentially it. It dies back in winter and explodes out of the ground again every spring with no help from you. You harvest the stalks by pulling them, never the leaves, those are toxic, and that's the one thing to know. Otherwise, it's nearly impossible to kill. In the kitchen, that's pies, crumbles, and sauces. To sell, fresh stalks move well in spring, but the real money is value added. Rhubarb jam and chutneys sell at a strong markup, and they store, so you're earning long after the harvest.
Number 3 is for warmth and drought, the fig. Once established, a fig tree handles heat and dry spells that would kill most fruit, and it produces heavily with almost no attention. In a hot, dry yard where nothing else fruits, figs thrive. And here's the flexible part. Figs grow happily in a large pot, so even with no land, you can keep one on a patio or balcony. Plant it, water it through the first season, and after that, its deep roots find their own water. In covered areas, you grow it in a container and move it to shelter for winter. Fresh figs are expensive and don't ship well, which is exactly why locally grown ones sell fast and high. Supermarkets can't compete on freshness. Eat them fresh or dry them and sell them year-round. One tree can hand you more fruit than a family can eat.
Number 4 sounds fancy, but is almost comically tough. The sunchoke, also called Jerusalem artichoke. It's a relative of the sunflower, and you grow it for the knobbly tubers under the ground. They taste like a nutty potato. You plant a few tubers once, and you will never plant them again, because any piece left in the soil regrows. They survive drought, poor soil, cold, and total neglect, and they multiply underground on their own. The honest warning, they spread aggressively, so give them their own corner or a container, or they'll take over. They're a specialty vegetable chefs love, and most people can't easily buy, so they sell well at markets as something unusual. And because they store right in the ground, you dig them up only when you want them. Free food sitting in the soil, waiting.
Number 5, the mulberry tree. This is one of the most productive, hands-off fruit trees in the world, and almost nobody plants it anymore, which is exactly the opportunity. It tolerates drought, poor soil, heat, and cold, and it fruits heavily with zero spraying or fuss. You plant it, get it through its first season, and then step back. It's so vigorous that established trees produce buckets of berries every year on their own. It even grows fast compared to most fruit trees, so you're not waiting a decade for fruit. Here's why nobody sells them in stores. Ripe mulberries are too soft to ship. That's a problem for supermarkets and a gift for you. Fresh local mulberries have basically no competition. Sell them fresh, dried, or as jam. And the surplus your family can't eat is perfect feed for chickens or other animals, so nothing's wasted.
Number 6 solves the biggest annoyance in any garden, leafy greens that you have to replant constantly. Perennial kale and tree collards don't die at the end of the season. They keep growing, sometimes into tall, woody plants, and you harvest leaves from them for years off a single planting. You plant it once from a cutting or seedling. It pushes out fresh greens almost year-round in mild climates, survives through cold, and the more you pick, the more it produces. No reseeding, no replanting, no bare winter beds. Just walk out and cut what you need. For your kitchen, it's an endless supply of nutritious greens with effectively zero ongoing effort. To sell, fresh-cut greens always move at markets, and because yours produce continuously, you can supply buyers when seasonal growers have nothing. Steady greens, steady income. One planting.
Number 7. The pomegranate. Built for hot, dry climates, it's one of the most drought-tolerant fruit plants you can grow. Once its roots are down, it produces fruit on land that's too dry and harsh for almost anything else. You can grow it as a shrub or small tree, and like the fig, it does well in a large container, so it works on a patio, not just open land. Plant it, water it the first season, and after that, it handles heat and drought that would finish off thirstier fruit trees. It also lives a long time, fruiting for decades. Pomegranates carry a premium price and a health food reputation, so they sell strongly fresh. Add value by pressing the seeds into juice, which sells for even more. A tough plant that produces a genuinely high-value fruit, that's a rare combination.
Number 8 is almost impossible to kill, and that's the whole point. Horseradish. You grow it for the pungent root, and once it's in your soil, it is there for good. Drought, cold, neglect, it doesn't care. You plant a single root cutting and it establishes fast and comes back every year, multiplying underground. Same honest warning as the sunchoke. It spreads, so give it a contained spot or a bucket sunk in the ground. Other than keeping it in bounds, it asks nothing of you. Here's the money angle most people miss. The raw root is cheap, but processed into prepared horseradish sauce, it sells for a strong markup and stores for months. You turn a plant you can't kill into shelf-stable jars of product. Plant once, harvest forever, sell year-round.
Number 9 is a group because they share one superpower, the woody Mediterranean herbs, rosemary, oregano, and thyme. These plants evolved on dry, rocky hillsides, so drought and poor soil are their natural home. Overwatering kills them faster than neglect ever could. You plant them once in a sunny spot and then largely leave them alone. Rosemary grows into a permanent woody bush that lasts for years. Oregano and thyme come back every season and spread into low mats. They survive heat, drought, and being ignored, and they grow perfectly in pots if you have no land at all. In the kitchen, you'll never buy these again. To sell, fresh herb bunches move well, but dried and jarred herbs are where the margin is. They're lightweight, they store forever, and they sell at a premium. One of the easiest plant once, sell often crops on this list.
Number 10 is the onion that plants itself. Perennial onions, like Egyptian walking onions. Most onions you replant every year. These you plant once, and they replant themselves, forming little bulbs on top that bend over, touch the soil, and root into new plants. They literally walk across your garden. You plant a clump once. It survives hard winters underground, comes back every spring, and expands on its own with zero effort. You harvest the green tops like scallions year-round and the small bulbs whenever you need onion flavor. It's one of the most self-sufficient food plants in existence. You'll always have onion greens on hand for cooking, free, and bunched fresh green onions are a steady, reliable seller at any market. Small money each, but constant, from a plant you never replant and never really tend.
Number 11 is a green almost no store sells, which is its whole advantage. Sorrel. It's a hardy perennial leafy green with a sharp, lemony, tangy flavor. It's one of the very first plants up in spring and one of the last standing in fall, and it survives frost that flattens other greens. You plant it once and it returns every year, tougher each season, handling cold and neglect easily. Cut the leaves and it simply grows more. It even tolerates partial shade, so it fills spots where other edibles won't grow. That lemony flavor makes it a favorite with chefs for sauces and salads, and because supermarkets almost never carry it, restaurants and market shoppers have nowhere else to get it. A hardy green you can't find in stores is exactly the kind of thing that earns a small grower steady, low-competition sales.
And number 12 is the one I told you to wait for. The plant whose only real problem is that it grows too well. Amaranth. It gives you two foods in one. Tender, nutritious leaves you eat like spinach, and tiny seeds you harvest as a protein-rich grain. Here's why it never leaves once you grow it. Amaranth thrives in heat and drought, ignores poor soil, and self-seeds so freely that a single planting reseeds your garden for years. You'll have volunteers coming up on their own every season. That's the catch I promised. Your job isn't keeping it alive, it's keeping it from spreading everywhere. For a survives anything list, that's the perfect problem to have. You eat the leaves all summer and harvest the grain in fall. To sell, the greens move at markets, and the grain rides the whole gluten-free ancient grain health trend, which sells at a premium. One tough plant, 2 crops, and it plants itself for free, the ideal note to end on.
So that's 12 plants you put in the ground once and harvest from for years. The pattern is simple: deep roots or self-seeding, a tolerance for drought and neglect, and food on both ends, your kitchen and your market stall. Remember the one honest rule: get each of them through that first season, and after that they mostly take care of themselves. You stop being a babysitter and start being a harvester. That's the whole point of this kind of growing. More food, more income, far less work. Tell me in the comments which of the 12 you'd plant first. I'll do a full step-by-step on that one next. And if this gave you a real plan for your space, subscribe. Everything on this channel is about turning small land into food and income, with less work, not more. Plant it once, let it do the work, then go enjoy your land.